Welcome to podcast 2187. Enjoy the show. And don't forget to submit your blaster for inspection.
Hello, and I didn't ruin the intro like I did last time. This because I learned from what happened last time. But this is podcast 2187. We are on episode 74, and we're doing this one live. And what I'm going to do right now is tweet the link so people can actually listen. And there it goes.
Awesome.
Okay, so Jared, Mark, how are you guys? We don't have Andrew tonight. We knew that, unfortunately, going into it. But we do have Mark back since he wasn't here last week. And as always, we have Jared. So how are you both doing tonight?
I'm chill. I'm happy.
That's great, right?
That's
Yes.
I'm go on, Mark.
Somehow I hurt my back while sleeping last night.
Oh,
A sharp pain in my back woke me up, and I was like, "Uh-oh, what? How do you hurt yourself? How do you hurt your back while sleeping?"
I don't like that. I don't like that.
That annoyed me today. I'm not on the right amount of medication either for it.
I'm sorry, man. That's awful.
And whiskey. Yeah, Jared, how are you doing?
I'm feeling okay. I'm really happy to talk to you guys. Yeah.
About the world of the stars.
What's up?
About the world of the stars.
Yeah, about the world of the stars. I'm kind of
Hey,
disappointed.
Can we all agree to shun Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh, I
You
started
know,
doing that a while back.
I still love like Cosmos, and that he wanted to bring it back. Like there's things about him I like, but guess who's super pro science and reason and isn't like a total jerk face. I really want to curse him, but it's the live
We're
show,
live.
so I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna look to Bill Nye now.
Oh,
like
God,
No,
that's
you
even
didn't.
worse.
Yeah, I know Mark's not a
Hey.
big fan.
Hey, at least that guy doesn't constantly crap on fantasy stuff for no reason. It's like Star Wars. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's got magic. People like little Muppets live for hundreds of years. There's sound in space. Like there's no reason to bring science into Star Wars. The whole parsecs thing. I just talked to Blake about that. He never had heard that before. Our friend Blake had never heard why parsecs was nonsense. He just thought it sounded like space nonsense from George Lucas. I'm like, oh, it is, but it's a real word, and it's not the right measurement. And he tweeted about it and said like, you can't run a race and and win it in less miles than the race was. Like that doesn't make any sense. But that segues into actual Star Wars news because it came up because of the Kessel Run.
I think it's only a matter of time before he starts a YouTube channel, pointing out all the flaws in movies, or one of those ones where it's just about bad things, and he starts getting money off that. Because at this point, it's like I don't need you to tell me that this is the way the chain should look as the dragon's pulled out of the lake, the frozen lake, or that this fire will be so much more hotter than the regular fire. Because I'm thinking, well, but it could be ice. So how do you know?
Yeah, you know what he did that was, I remember, I think, what started it all. You guys remember Gravity? He felt really pleased with the response he was getting about pointing out the inaccuracies in Gravity, and he just won't shut up about it since then.
Yeah, he was pointing out BB-8 wouldn't be able to roll on sand like that. It's like, well, okay.
It's like, and guess what? Kermit the Frog can't pedal a freaking bicycle. But if you try and tell me
Shut
that,
your-
I will. Yeah, no, I will destroy you. Like, how dare you suggest such a thing? Like, what? Why would anyone ever think that?
He's a scourge on fandom. So
He's a scourge on fandom.
he is.
I
He
like
really
that.
is. I would like, personally, we need to come up with Neil deGrasse Tyson T-shirts, with just like, big, what is it, veto signs or whatever in it.
He does.
I'm gonna let you guys know there's a guy we're somewhat familiar with, I would say, who is listening, and he's in the chat. His name is Drew, and he says, "What's up, dudes? What's this all about?" Honestly, I don't think we ever know what this is about, but hi, Drew.
Hey, if Drew has any questions, we'd more than be happy to answer them.
That is correct.
I think his only question that I keep getting is, "Hey, when are we gonna go see the movie? When are we getting together for a showing?" Because the locals down here tend to all go to the movies together for opening night. It's like, I think it's still too early, no?
What's up?
It's still, they're not going to announce tickets for like another month at least.
I thought it was November last year, right?
Yeah, it was about a month out, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think it was just a little bit earlier, or just a little bit more than a month. Like it was like it was like, because the movie came out on the 15th. It was like the 12th or 13th, maybe, or maybe it was a little even less. Maybe it was like the 17th. But either way, that's what I remember too. So, hopefully, we'll get that figured out soon. I'm down as always. I'd love to see you guys.
It'll be even bigger group. Sans Tim, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Tim.
Well,
and it's the one thing we get Ron for, but Colin won't come for the same reason Ron won't do anything else, because he won't travel that far, even though it's like, come on, man. It's not like we don't do it every week for brunch or something.
What you're basically saying is Ron and Colin do not like each other in a roundabout way. If Ron comes, Colin won't go. But if Colin comes, then Ron can't come again.
I mean, that's what the math adds up to.
It does. There might be some equation there we're not thinking of, but I think deep down they just might. But they might not like sharing you, Jared.
That might be it.
That also matches the math.
The San Diego Blakes who don't really get involved in the in this area. Boy. I'd like to see that 3-4-way.
Wait, a 3-4-way? What?
No. Blake, Colin, Ron, and you. That would make an awesome little.
Oh man, I would love to have us all get together. How do
you divide your time? Who do you talk to most?
Ron and Colin and I have all been together before, and Ron and Blake and I have been together before, but not all four of us. And I haven't been with Colin and Blake together yet, but I will soon. Yes.
I think you should continue this, this fractured hole.
Okay, so what I'm going to do also right now before I forget, because I have a bad record of forgetting until, we're seriously like, okay, that's the end of the episode, and then I remember. But I remembered this time. I checked the comments of our previous episode, because occasionally we get some from people like Colin, and we do have one from Colin, or a few. And the comments he gave us on our last episode are as follows. Comment number 1. Jared is dropping truth bombs all over this episode.
Nice.
Comment number 2. Talk about Star Wars, please. Comment number 3. Talk about Star Wars, please. And the final comment is, you're talking about Colin. There. I read them all. I didn't forget this time.
So we should talk more about Colin and also about Star Wars.
No, I think we're supposed to talk less about Star Wars and more about Colin, I think.
It sounds like we've already done exactly what he doesn't like or does like in the first 10 minutes of this episode. So there you go.
Yeah, probably.
Any news?
Little bit. I think the thing I'll probably just do first is the Star Wars Rebels Season 4 schedule, at least the first part of it. StarWars.com. I'm looking there at the schedule, and it says that it returns for the 4th and final season on Monday, October 16th on Disney XD, and it says many of the episodes will be broadcast back to back through November. Anyway, so what we have is that the 16th is going to be Heroes of Mandalore Parts 1 and 2. The following week will be In the Name of the Rebellion Parts 1 and 2. October 30th is The Occupation and Flight of the Defender. Oh, okay. See, that's Jared and I were talking about this earlier because I was looking at parts 1 and 2. I didn't see where there are 2 separate named episodes together. And then November 6th, Kindred and Crawler Commander or Commandeer. I don't know, whatever. So that's 1, 2. So yeah, there are 9 episodes for the first part because Rebel Assault is after that, and then there's going to be a little bit of a break, and then
there'd only be 6 left, which is what we were saying before we were recording. We were trying to figure out because I had said I thought that there were 9. You said there were 6, but 6 airings, 9 episodes. Is that right? Wait,
5 airings, 9 episodes. It looks like.
And
then it says
it'll
be back in early 2018 for its final run of episodes leading up to the Top Secret series finale, is what it says, and it's going to be at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. So the best time slot for TV shows.
Yeah, no, like Adult Swim.
You're dumping it. Dumping
it. They are dumping it.
If it gets fantastic ratings, which I saw somebody say that it gets these crazy good ratings, it's like, well, then why are they just dumping it? Because you can't sugarcoat it. Premiering at 10:30 at night Eastern time for people on a Monday morning, basically, or 12:30 in the morning, when people have to go to work, and two episodes like bam, 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 here you go. We're not going to string it out. We're going to dump it in a horrible time slot. Enjoy it. It's over.
My hypothesis is with the way they've moved it around from being like a morning show to an afternoon show to a midweek show to a Saturday morning show or whatever, like it's been kind of screwed around with the last 3 seasons as far as time slots, and it's never been on their major channel. It's always been on XD. It's not been on Disney. It's been in fewer homes. I think that to me it indicates that if it is a financial success in any way, if anyone has any real reason to believe it's got good ratings, I think they're using a metric that something like FX uses or something like HBO uses that's not even ad based. That they're looking at it from online consumption in numbers that they don't release to us everything. It has to be a show that people who are mostly Star Wars fans and kids who like that stuff, who consume everything online and don't watch any live TV, like that has to be who watches it. If that, I don't know.
No,
Also,
I think that's pretty fair.
I'm gonna suggest too that you guys, if you can't, then that's fine. If anybody can pull up the stream on YouTube so that you guys can see the chat too. So like as things come up, you guys can react to it as well. If you can't, that's fine. But I tweeted the link under the podcast account if you want to reference that. But anyway, so like some of the things that have come up, I think it is Commandeer. Looking at it, I think it's Crawler Commandeers. I will whatever. That's what I think. I don't know. And then it also says other comments say they want the show over ASAP and that they should have released it on Netflix.
Yeah, well, they're not going to do that ahead of. I think if they're going to do something like that, they'd just wait and release it on their new Disney-only streaming service. But I guess not, because that's not going to start for a while.
But like as opposed to the midnight on the East Coast, like the 12:30 airings on Netflix, I think the reason I would think they would decide against that though is with Netflix, as we know, they release it at once, whole seasons. And the way that this press release is worded with the, we'll be back in early 2018 for its final episode, whatever, Top Secret series finale, all that. I just don't feel like they really want to just let it all out at once. I feel like they're going to enjoy the pacing of the last couple releases. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Like how I think that they feel.
Well, they could. It's tough to say because, again, that I don't. Maybe they're not done with it, animation-wise, or maybe they're waiting. They don't want to. There's going to be so much Star Wars hype with the movie coming out, and people not around because of Christmas and Thanksgiving. They just want to take that natural break that most shows do anyways. You have shows start up again. Most fall TV shows start up again any day now. And then they run and then they run to about right before Thanksgiving, and sometimes they'll take about a month break for the holidays, and then they come back, in the first of the year. So I think that's probably just what they're doing. It's pretty standard, and I think they assume that most kids won't have time to watch it. Not that they have time to watch it in this weird ass schedule. Oops, sorry. Anyway,
you can say ass.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's basic broadcast television stuff. But of course, by that logic, for as long as shows we have, for the past 12, 15 years, we should be able to drop
Is
an
it
S-bomb.
Rick and Morty broadcast language? Because that's pretty.
No, Tim.
So,
I'm live. I think I'm caught up.
huh?
What's
Oh, you're ready for like you're where everyone else is at Rick and Morty.
for the ABCs of Death?
Yeah, that's the newest one.
And I'm done.
Isn't it great, man? Like it's such a good show.
It's so good.
Awesome. So Star Wars.
I love it.
I know, but it's one of those things that my inner curmudgeon was like, I'm not giving in to the hype. Screw everybody. It can't be that good. And then it was like, ooh, Hulu free trial. All right. And I just flat like I had days off. I was just like, another one, sure. Why not?
Yeah, you and Blake, Blake has been binging stuff like mad when he has, because he's like, I started the show, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm done with it. You did that with like Parks and Rec. Like, it was crazy how fast he was through that. But I've seen that a lot with Rick and Morty. People go through that.
You know,
fast.
what's the likelihood? Obviously, I think it's safe to say that Rebels will never ever be on Netflix.
Now with the new, unless the streaming thing doesn't work. Although I just read a thing, I think that it was, I'm not sure if it'll apply with the Disney thing. I didn't read about the international component of that, because a lot of stuff like the CBS thing, a lot of these shows are, or these services are specific to North America, and they're available like outside of here and Canada on Netflix.
It's kind of ridiculous the way it works.
Yeah,
if you're gonna charge everybody, charge everybody. Don't let our neighbors to the north get free Star Trek or whatever when we got to pay for it.
Yeah, they have it on Space. They just have it on their Sci-Fi channel. It's literally just on regular basic cable there, which is rad for them. I'll say if you have Netflix, it's going to be available each week on Netflix, and a lot of shows like Breaking Bad was released like that internationally, and it's just interesting to me. So it's not even just streaming services; it's just sometimes just really popular shows. But it's just really interesting to me that this article, because I had hypothesized that it's going to be a failure, and they're going to some stupid exec is going to blame it on anything new about Star Trek Discovery or anything perceived as risky or new, because it's their flagship. But they actually were just talking in this article. The thought behind it was because 98% of its coverage in the world is going to be viewership in like countries that are just anyone who has Netflix is going to be able to watch it anyway. They're still going to be able to count it as profitable because they're going to be taking it as a percentage of their Netflix share.
But I don't think there is such a thing as a Netflix share.
The show is
what I understand
because the show is owned by CBS, which is the same ownership as Paramount. The same company owns Star Trek. That owns the stream and owns the show and produces the show that owns the streaming service.
So what I'm saying is with Netflix, if everybody in the world only watched, let's say, Breaking Bad on Netflix, right? You don't watch anything. All you watch is Breaking Bad. All that money that Netflix made that month doesn't go to Breaking Bad.
No, it's not a percentage of that money, but Netflix pay every one of those countries their versions of Netflix paid a license for each of the shows, so the show itself could still be considered profitable, even though
I don't think so.
I think it could be as long as it's still being picked up on these other services. As long as other people as long as their Netflix still buy it, because they have to either renew it or buy a new season or whatever. I'm not sure. I know what you're saying. But the article seemed to make some sort of sense to me at the time. But you could be right.
All I know is that for the most part, licensing across the world is very different than here. So they could already be in agreement that anything that comes from CBS is on Netflix. So they can't parcel it out. They may have signed long-term deals, versus here, they kind of just do what the hell they want, as far as you can watch it or you can't watch it. But again, I still think you kind of pay a flat rate, or you kind of sell. From what I understand, the distribution companies will sell a package of movies to Netflix, and if you notice, they seem to sell it across multiple platforms, because what pops on Amazon Prime for free is the same stuff that's on Hulu Prime for free.
No, we've talked about that before. Like a lot of the movies and TV shows that are on each of those are on both of them.
But it's like everybody suddenly got, oh my God, everybody has Magnificent Seven, the new one, at the same time. Everybody's got Mission Impossible.
I found a lot of the time it's everybody but Netflix. It's like they're all
right
against
the other
Netflix.
I just need to know who has Split, because I really want to see Split.
Yeah, I did too. I haven't seen that yet, and I've been waiting for that to hit one of the services, at least that I have, because I really want to see that.
Is it not available on iTunes? Are you guys not willing to spend a little bit of money on it? Come on, guys, it's
not
really
when I'm
great.
already paying for Netflix and Amazon Prime.
So good.
No, if it's less than $10 on Black Friday, I'm buying it on Blu-ray. So
I probably will.
Hasn't hit my sweet spot yet.
That's smart. All right.
I'm most likely going to be the same, Mark, as what you did. A comment, too, that you'll be interested in says, same here, Mark. That show is amazing, and I was so resistant to watching it.
Who's that?
Looks like Al N.
Yeah, yep, that's Al.
Sweet Al. That's your new nickname.
Sweet Al.
Sweet Al.
Okay, so I'm going to mention something Star Wars related.
Go ahead.
Which thing? Let's get to it was pretty cool recently, yesterday, I think. I saw an article on makingstarwars.net that was pretty cool, and it was just kind of noticing that sci-fi.com in one of their articles referenced the Making Star Wars article that came out months ago with the picture that Lumberjack Nick drew of the Porgs, and when Jason
seriously?
No, seriously, and when Jason first described what they were and all that, sci-fi.com gave credit and reference to MSW as being the first place for that. And I just thought that was cool, because so far with the things that have happened, the only other person I've really seen give a lot of public credit to MSW was Anthony Breznican through this process. And it's just nice to see that, no matter what it is, it's not about the Porgs, Mark. It's just that, the credit going to Making Star Wars, I appreciate.
Can we get through an episode without bringing them up? You think?
No.
I mean, I'm open to it, but I don't know if it will happen.
We ended up doing it a bunch. I think you ended up talking
we were
about
doing
it.
great there until Tim just kind of casually,
Hey, like I said, it's not about them.
Did a pork drive-by at me.
It's sci-fi.com that I'm talking about. It's just that they're a side element to that. I can't control what they gave credit for. It's just what they gave credit for.
I'm only going to post no more than 3 Porg-related things from the account every day from now on. I'll limit myself for Mark.
So save a little bit of Mark's sanity. We're going to keep going. Another thing we can get to is that Ryan Johnson said on Twitter recently, in reply to Andy, who I know we all interact with sometimes, Indiana Jedi, he replied to him saying that Episode 8 is completely done with visual effects, sound editing, all that. It's all done. Episode 8 is ready to go. So
he should change his name to Indy Andy. That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Or Indiana.
Indiana Jones.
It's pretty good.
All right, we're done. Let's just end the podcast now.
Drop the mic on that one.
So yeah, but there's that.
Dog, Indiana. All right, go ahead.
Anyway, you remember that? Remember when Episode 8, long ago, was originally going to come out in May, right? And then they pushed it back to December.
Oh yeah,
a long
man.
time ago.
I almost completely even forgot that was a thing, dude. Like,
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or
No, I seriously did. Like May. That's crazy talk. And then I remembered. Oh no, that was originally the plan.
Yeah.
It was already gonna do that.
Yeah.
Then now it's Han Solo.
So now with it being September and they're just now finishing, I remember when they pushed it back to December, some people had said, they could have it released earlier than December, but that it was basically either May or December. So they aired with December, which obviously now looks like the right choice. But anyway, they are completely done now. And I guess, Mark, that includes the score.
Yep.
And that's interesting because, I mean, that's always one of the last things to be done. But with some scores like Jurassic World, Giacchino, that movie came out in June. Giacchino was working on it, recording sessions, I think, in May. I think he was still working on it. And that was still pushing it kind of close. But it's interesting that it's already completely 100% done in September.
Kinda cool.
Same with Doctor Strange. I think with Doctor Strange, Giacchino was recording it in like late September, early October for a November release, maybe.
Yes,
If
yeah.
I remember correct.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common. It feels like from the news cycle about that stuff. I think that it also just indicates like how crazy good Rian Johnson's relationship with them has been on this. Like, not just in comparison to other Star Wars creatives, because I mean, even JJ, even the Force Awakens, they were much closer to deadline. It felt like before they said they were done with everything.
And like you said, that would be normal too. And it's interesting that for any movie, granted he started pretty early on this one too, but it's just, and I remember Rian Johnson did say at one point, someone asked him what his favorite part was of working on Star Wars, and his answer said, I think it might be getting to do the music with John Williams. So they've obviously had a good collaboration so far, and it's been productive and good, but it's just it's interesting. It just doesn't happen that often that it's done this early.
Not this smooth.
Okay, yes. And what does this say about Han Solo?
Oh, that it's a mess.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you think they're going to be done by May?
I really don't. And
I don't know.
But it's like I get less confident with that the longer we get closer to May. The last couple months I've thought, oh, they're going to move it to December. But then every passing week I'm like, maybe not. Because they're not announcing it.
Here's the thing: when did we start seeing the first figures or the first? Yeah, when did you start seeing the first figures? Let's say pop up, spoiler wise for Last Jedi, 2 months ago.
Like for sale?
No, just like early pictures of whether prototypes or
Oh yeah, like
when you start.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay, so that would put that roughly about, October, November, December. So that put that 5 months out, right? Before the movie's release.
Yeah.
So,
which you mean that stuff will be coming right around December.
Yeah, and I don't see it. I don't see them having like a ton of stuff ready.
Yeah,
books
can't move on that accelerated schedule because they can't ship that stuff because of the weight. Paper weighs like people don't realize it until they move. If you have a lot of books or magazines or comic books even, but paper is made of wood, and the stuff weighs a lot, and you can't ship it on planes. It's just shipped on boats. It takes a long time.
But you're talking though about the timing of things too. We know that Donald Glover, Paul Bettany, and is it Emilia Clarke? I can never get her name right.
Yeah, that's right.
All three of them are done with filming. But is there anybody I missed who's finished?
I thought you just said like in general. I'm like, well, the two main guys, Han and Chewie. But no, I think that's all I've heard that are done.
So
they haven't said anything about Woody Harrelson or the two main guys.
Right. So we know that those three are done. And with Ron Howard coming in to finish all that, for him to already be done with those three actors at this point, how do you think, like with that in mind, how do you think the timing of it could work out? You still think that?
I mean, I honestly think they can get it done, but why?
Why rush it?
You're already,
right?
Yeah, if you're already going to have the next movie in the saga happen in December of 2019, is it 19?
Yeah,
Right.
so space it evenly, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Right. So why not? No one's going to get mad if, oh my God, I don't get the next Star Wars movie in 6 months. I get it in a year. You'd be fine with it. And
Well, it makes more sense than waiting a year and 7 months, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because that's what it's gonna be if they don't push it. But like, it makes more sense to wait a full year once instead of waiting 5 months one time, because otherwise we're gonna wait 19 months.
Well, and plus they pretty much have two options. They can either make every movie released so far be a December Star Wars movie, or they can have a May release for old time's sake, so to speak. They can really only do one of the two, it seems.
Well, and they can't, and they also can't like rush a cartoon show. That stuff takes time, and I think if they were further along enough to have something to fill that gap, we'd know more concrete stuff from people who have solid sources like Jason at Making Star Wars, and like a lot of other people, as well. Like, I think there'd be some bigger hint of what's coming. We know they're developing something, but you'd think they'd be much further along. We'd have an idea of it. I would think if there were any way they had a 19-month programming gap, but maybe not, because it is unique. Maybe they're like, oh, we're going to take some time to work on Indiana Jones. Like, I don't know, but it's weird to me.
Well, I mean, and then look at Marvel with Avengers: Infinity War. I think they're done filming that. They actually have stuff to show, as far as some people either have or haven't seen the stuff that leaked online or been there to see the sizzle reels or whatever. But that's coming out, I think, within a month of Han Solo. They haven't even given us a title yet, for God's sake.
Yeah. It's gonna be Han Solo, right? Like I feel like it is. Like if it's not, I feel like they are. They missed their chance for me to give a crap.
and Ron Howard keeps tweeting still untitled Han Solo movie.
Right.
I don't know, because if it's, I feel like they're kind of stuck.
It has to be in the title.
Well, I feel like they're kind of stuck though, because at this point they've delayed the title for so long. People have been expecting to hear it for like a year and a half now at various events and conventions and whatever, and we haven't heard it yet, obviously. So one of two things: either, like you said, it's Han Solo, or just like that's pretty much it, and you're gonna get some disappointed people. Like, seriously, that's what you were hiding from us for so long? Or if it's a lot more to it, like Jared just said, you're gonna be disappointed because you've expected it to be Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just weird. Like, I made the joke a while ago, but like, like, is it just called Untitled Han Solo's project? Is that like, is it something meta inside the story? Is there a titular line where Lando says like, "This is the Untitled Han Solo project"? And it's like, oh my God, like he said it.
You know what I'm really behind now as an idea?
What?
Why not get Glover to do source music for some bar?
Hey, I think that would fit.
It would fit. It absolutely fit. And since he's kind of into a little bit, especially with what's the name of that song? Oh God, the big one that's out that I keep hearing all the time from him.
I don't know.
Either way, it was the one that was also in. It was the one that was also in Get Out. I think it's like Redbone or something. But it's a lot electronic based a little bit, so it might be nice to hear some of that stuff in the background.
Yeah. I also want to throw in.
I know Andrea would agree with me right now if she were here, but unfortunately, I was with you two schlubs to just that sounds great. Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar enough with it. I like what I've heard, but and I think it's a good idea, but I'm not familiar enough with his work to like whatever. Sorry, dude.
I just want to throw in,
Sorry.
Drew just put in a really good comment too in the comments. He says, don't they usually show a trailer 8 months out? Because April is when we first saw the Last Jedi trailer, and that's when we got the second teaser for Force Awakens, all that. And he says, we are at that point for the Han Solo film. That's right. We are right now 8 months, like to the day.
Well,
are we? Is
you
it supposed
would
to come out
think.
the 25th?
And they have
They
done
will
that.
have. Yeah, I mean they'll have the big Avengers trailer with Thor. Absolutely, that's going to happen. So you would expect at the very least they'll have a big Han Solo trailer with Star Wars.
I would
with
really
Last
think
Jedi.
so.
But
I
it
hear all
doesn't
these
feel
people
like
say, yeah. I hear all these people say, even before it didn't feel like it, because I think it doesn't feel like it because of where they're at more than anything else and the vibe. But people have been saying that we wouldn't get it because of logic reasons. You know, I don't think, like, yeah, everybody's mom is confused. They're still confused about Rogue One or whatever, but they're also going to go see it with us on Christmas. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. They're still going to make the money. Like they're still making millions and billions of dollars on Star Wars, so they don't care. Nobody cares. Like I know people whose moms were confused, you know, that Wonder Woman doesn't know Captain America. It doesn't matter. That's not. I just don't think it will confuse anyone to see a young guy who's not Harrison Ford in a movie about Han Solo with a young guy who's not Billy D. Williams playing Lando. Like nobody's parents are gonna be like, I don't understand what this could possibly be. Like they're gonna immediately understand if they have any familiarity with Star Wars at all. They're gonna connect, but it's young Han and Lando, and it'll be fine.
Plus, to touch on,
or a Saturday Night Live sketch, one of the two.
Yeah, no. Either way, they'll make money.
well, to kind of echo something I mentioned last week too, is that I feel like even though you're right, it is 8 months before the movie comes out, they might be holding back from releasing too much footage because of what happened with Rogue One and the reshoots with all that. And right now, with Ron Howard completely revamping the movie, it seems.
That's a really good point, because the one that came
yeah.
out for Rogue One was ahead of the convention and was 8 months. It was also in April. I remember the very, very first short one,
Right.
and that one was all wrong, like all of it.
So I could see
that's a
them
really
because there were,
good
there
point,
were
Tim.
quite a few complaints, totally understandably. Mark, I know you were fine with it. No, you didn't care, but
Not at all.
Didn't disappoint you in the least.
But I know a lot of people were rightfully complaining about how the trailer wasn't a good trailer as far as showing what's going to be in the movie, because most of it or half of it, whatever, wasn't there. So I could see them knowing that there's so much changing right now. They're just not going to show us anything till they're more settled down.
What's funny is it does bug me when stuff that has anything to do with like a story in a movie like Star Wars movies, if those trailers are wrong. I understand that frustration. I don't like it either. But in comedies, I almost prefer them to use something that would be cut than to use the best jokes. Because I remember being disappointed as a kid when I'd see a comedy and they wouldn't air a joke from a trailer. Like at the end, I'd be like, why didn't that one ever happen? I'd be like waiting for it. But then I realized that they often include some of the best jokes. And I'd be waiting for that too, and it would kind of ruin it a little bit, I think. And but as far as Star Wars stuff, I wasn't as upset as you, Mark, but there's definitely things I wish they would have included or it would have been different. And
Well, you don't have such a gigantic. I can't even say it. You don't have you don't have a thing for AT-ATs like I do, Jared. So
no, that's true. If there were like an Ewok teaching like a college course, like in that trailer that was cut.
Hey, you know, speaking of which, what was this stuff that I saw today about Wookiee Erotica?
Oh, I missed this.
Okay.
Clue me in on this one though. This is
I'll have to clue you in offline because we are a family show. But
We're live.
Wookiee Erotica for all your Wookiee needs. We get the Wookiee cookie. What's the Wookiee cookie, Jared?
I don't know this one.
I don't know either, but it sounds naughty. Ring a ding ding.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's true.
Okay, so
Sorry.
we're going to keep this discussion about the Han Solo movie going because There's been a
Well,
rumor recurring or repeating
And,
over some time now, because it first came out a while back, then it kind of died down, then it's come back and whatever. What are your thoughts about the potential of having Darth Vader in the Han Solo movie? Because I actually have I have a solid opinion on this, but I want to hear what you guys think first.
No.
Okay, that was easy. Jared?
oh, like is he gonna be in the movie?
No,
Not is he
I don't
going
want
to
him in
be,
there.
just what are your thoughts about it?
I don't want a cameo or anything.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. I'm against it, and I don't think it'll happen. So either way, it'd be no for me.
Okay, well then we're in agreement at least about the not wanting it, because like I said, I have a solid stance on this. I really hope that he's not in there, because if they do put him in there, that would seem so forced to me. When we knew about the concept of Rogue One right off the bat, it would make sense, and people were hoping that Vader would have a presence because it makes sense based off of the plot that we knew early on. With this being about Han Solo, it should be about Han Solo and Chewie and Lando, and not about Vader, who he comes across later. And even if it's a cameo, it's just the problem with it being even a short appearance is that now the used to be called anthologies, whatever they're called now, the spin-offs, they're going to become the Darth Vader cameo series. You know what I mean?
No, you know what? I get what you're saying, but I disagree. The Stan Lee of these films is going to be C-3PO, and I'm going to hate it every time.
Oh no, yeah, it could be that too, and I would have a problem with that.
Wandering by in a spaceport, you know it. He's going to just be like, oh, whatever the hell he says. He's going to be wandering by in a spaceport, and it's going to pick him out, and I'll be like, of course.
Yeah, you're right. And what more? I feel like eventually it will end up being like Stan Lee, where it's just he's like, I'm delivering a message from from Bill Antilles. It's like
they want to keep C-3PO in every movie going. I think as long as they can.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I don't have a problem with him being in every episodic movie, but he doesn't need to be in every single one. And the difference is Stan Lee, those moments are brief. They're something that people look forward to, and in a way they kind of make sense because he's not the same character.
They're getting bad now.
Some of them, yeah, but they're not the same character. Here with 3PO, you're having the same character, like bilocating across the galaxy at every moment, so he can be in every movie.
Well, yeah, you see 3PO though. He's a god.
I don't know.
You watch.
I mean, so if Amanda's listening, if she's upset, I'm sorry, but hey, I did have Taco Bell for dinner. If that helps make up for that, I don't know. I'm trying to save some amount of grace here. Whenever we talk bad about 3PO,
Boba Fett cameo though. Hey, huh?
What about what?
Huh? That Boba Fett cameo, possibly. What do you think about that?
That would make more sense in this movie, given that it's Han and Lando and Chewie. It would make a heck of a lot more sense to have Boba Fett than 3PO or Vader.
It would. Yes, it would.
Especially because there were those rumors early on that it would be a Solo/Fett movie that they were doing, and since then it has evolved into being a solo movie, no pun intended. But it makes sense to have some amount of Boba in there too. I wouldn't be throwing popcorn if he shows up.
What? Oh, what'd you say?
He wouldn't throw popcorn at the screen. He wouldn't boo and hiss.
If Fett showed up?
That'd be fine. It would make sense, and assuming it's done in a not horrible way, then that makes sense.
No, if he comes moonwalking in and
or just finger guns at the camera.
That's fine.
Pops up his collar. He's in a jean jacket. He's like, "What's going on, young Han Solo?" he keeps referring to him as young Han Solo. How amazing would that be?
They could just take the ending. They could take the ending of Grease and just have Han Solo be John Travolta's character, and have I don't even know who the bad guy was, but have Boba Fett be the pockmark. Guy driving the car. Oh, that'd be great. And
That
at the
actually would be
end,
kind of awesome in a very weird way.
everybody else.
Oh, if this isn't a Greaser movie musical, I'm going to be a little disappointed, just a little bit.
And I think everybody needs to call him Young Han Solo.
like Lando's like, how's it going, young Han Solo?
I don't think I've heard anyone else suggest that. I'm really proud of that. And that's also what the movie should be called. It should be called Young Han Solo, and everyone should have a titular line, like including himself. Like at one point, he should look at himself in the mirror and be like, "What are you doing to yourself, Young Han Solo?"
Or like, well, I was gonna say like he's like in the first scene in A New Hope when he meets Obi-Wan and Luke, right? He sits down, same thing, but with somebody else. He sits down, and is like, "Hi, I'm young Han Solo, and if you need whatever, you know."
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That might just be the title of the movie.
I think it should be.
I mean, they went with Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, so maybe they go with Young Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Or a young Star Wars story? I don't know.
Oh, Young Han Solo. There you go.
Wow. No, you're right. I haven't heard
we
anybody
cracked-
else suggest that.
We cracked the case.
And that's why they've been keeping the title secret, because they're afraid that it's going to get a negative reaction.
Like everything else.
From
God,
people
no.
who just don't have comedy in their heart. They're going to hear young Han Solo, and they're just going to gripe about that. So they're just saving the experience of the
It
title.
made more sense when, like I said, when Boba Fett moonwalks in and they have the rap battle, and you understand that young Han Solo is his rap name. Like that's also what the whole thing about how it's not his real name comes into play.
Would this
'Cause it is his
also
name.
would this also be
It's
the
just his
first
rap.
time we get Michael Jackson in Star Wars for this moonwalk into the scene for Boba?
You know it wouldn't be, because the Captain EO has Max Rebo in it.
Huh?
They should just have Captain EO's ship fly by.
Captain EO at Disneyland, the old 3D show starring Michael Jackson, had a bunch of
Oh.
Tropic Cantina people in it.
Have you ever seen Captain EO?
Tim is so young.
Tim, have you ever seen it?
I think so, but I don't really remember.
So
I would encourage you. It's on YouTube. It'll never be the same experience as watching it live or with that odd, what was it, 4D technically?
yeah, it was something like that, right?
Yeah, they have like steam and like laser lights and 3D glasses.
Something cohesive. They've been doing that for like 30 years. They spray you with water and they're like, it's 4D. you smell something. It's like, yeah, you do.
I encourage everyone to watch it. I'm sorry, I don't give a crap what anybody says. I love Captain EO.
I have a Captain EO story I want to tell real quick. It's funny. I'll try. I think it's also a little, I don't know, weird, sad, but it's funny. So I've mentioned before, I think, on the show, and I know like online about lifelong struggling with crippling depression and OCD, and I also have anxiety issues. So, and I was terrified of Michael Jackson. And only like it wasn't always, but right around the time that I went to Disneyland when I was a little kid, when I was around 4, with my brothers and my mom and my aunt, and when everyone wanted to go see Captain EO, I was like, no dice, like that guy scares me, and they were basically they're gonna make me go do it, and I got so anxious that I threw up because I was afraid of Michael Jackson, and I feel like, in retrospect, I love a man's music. I think he's the greatest like pop dancer of all time. But at the same time, maybe if all the accusations have any truth to them, maybe there was something to me being terrified of Michael Jackson as a little kid at that time. Like maybe I was onto something. There you go.
No, I'm trying to find.
What? The video?
No, actually. Here it is. Okay, so I just decided that I was going to do something completely new because we're almost out of Star Wars stuff
hold
to
on.
talk about.
Wait, hold on.
What?
I had to put on the cough mic while Jared was telling a story. I think it's one of those things that you know how people are naturally afraid of the dark because it goes way back in your genes.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about? I just think that situation with you and Michael Jackson was things that unfortunately you got the genes that other kids didn't get. The ones that spent the night in Neverland and all that.
Oh yeah, but the genes to pick up on that stuff. Because I did, like, even as a little kid, like I had a mom. My mom's coworker Lynn married a dude that looked like Jim Gaffigan, only he was only like a child molester. like he was I met the guy when I was like 9 maybe, and I'm like, that dude's a pervert. I don't know why or how I know, but that dude's fucked up somehow. And I want to shake his hand. Oh, I messed up. Sorry, Tim. But he creeped me out.
Now I have to edit it. That's why we're doing a live episode, Jared.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I just slipped, and I apologize. I've been careful. You've heard me pause, but I apologize. That doesn't undo my mistake. I own up to it.
Everybody's shamed Jared. No.
No, I'm ashamed. But no, but the guy turned out to not be a child molester, but he was a sex addict. He ended up like confessing to his wife that like she needed to have an STD exam because he had like cheated on her a bunch every time he'd gone out of town for work, and he had sex indiscriminately because he was a sex addict with random strangers, and it was like, no, so I had a weirdo pervert sense even as a little kid, so I think you might be right.
You had the worst gift of mutant powers ever.
No, it's really not a great superpower. No. It's like you just call John Stossel and tell him who to set up and to catch a predator. It's like...
Tim, I'm sorry for interrupting you when you're trying to move on for that to catch a Jim Gaffigan story.
It's not a problem because what I'm trying to do is like I said, we're almost out of things to talk about. So I thought, as dangerous as this is, I would give you guys an opportunity because right now I have Twitter pulled up since I could tweet out the live stream and all that. And I figured if you guys, I don't know why this sounded like a good idea, but it did. Tell me a hashtag to look up and I'll tell you the most recent tweet about it.
Oh,
I like this idea. I like this game.
That's assuming that I have to know what's popular as far as hashtags. Do hashtag Clone Wars. No. Hashtag Rebels.
Okay, hold on.
All right, do I get to? Do I have to be nice about everything that pops up?
Okay, the most recent tweet that has hashtag Rebels says, "I feel like Yoda could have done more."
Dude, what? Like as far as make a better dinner?
Well, I think there's hold on, there might be an Instagram picture. There is. I'm pulling that up, and it is it's like a meme picture attached to it on Instagram. Oh, and there are like 50 hashtags, including a Phantom Menace and Jyn Erso and Darth Plagueis. These are all hashtags associated with it. So.
Okay. Well, unless Jared has something, I got one.
Oh, go for it. I've got a couple ideas, but I want to think more. Go for it.
Okay. Hashtag Reylo.
Oh no. That's
hashtag Reylo.
Okay.
REYLO.
Oh.
Might have to skip the pictures. Oh, what?
No. Okay. So the most recent one says, Reylo fan art is the most beautiful in the world. And then there's a picture attached with the artist credit.
What's the picture of?
What do you think?
Okay, how about
something that you would love?
Hashtag Huxlow.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? This is why I said I knew this wasn't a good idea.
Game.
I know, and it shouldn't have been. Oh, okay, this isn't bad.
I want to see the third one. I want to know what the
third one. The third one is we posted more Kylux photos on Tumblr, and after that is Huxlow.
Oh, Kylux. No. They can't be like changing the name out. What was the first one?
The first one, it looks not bad. It's from Vader Nick, and it says, P.S. My new favorite thing in Star Wars is Huxlow.
I think he was responding to us.
Probably.
Yeah. it's a vicious circle. Apparently, I'm giving airtime to version. I don't know. Whatever.
So any other ships, Mark, that I need to search?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Yes, I searched Finray, and one of the ones right at the top of most recent is someone who appears to be a nice young lady linking to a video that somebody made on YouTube with clips from the two of them together in The Force Awakens with the song "Stand by You." You guys know that song?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear it in my head. I think Tim should play it when he edits it.
Oh man. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I see that right now.
Isn't it amazing?
Is there anything
Okay.
for Wambaka?
Okay, wait. Spell this for me. I don't want to do it wrong.
I'm gonna assume it's like WAMBACCA, like the illicit love affair of the Wampa and Chewbacca from Forces of Destiny.
No
I'm gonna try
results for
Wambaka
hashtag
and
Wambaka.
And I'm gonna try Wampaka too, just in case. I'm also gonna try Chewampa.
Oh, Wampa.
See, there's so many possibilities for Forbidden Love. Chewampa just works because it portmanteaus so well. No, there's no Chewampa. Oh my! You guys have failed, Mark and I and Tim and Andrea and Chewbacca and the Wampa and Leia, who set them up or whatever. I forget what happened in that episode of Forces of Destiny. It was a good one though.
Sure.
All right.
What else you got?
Well,
Tim, what random one?
Oh,
I just
Go on.
looked up a shipping combination that I haven't heard before, and I got results, but it's for some sort of technology hub that combines your mobile devices together, so it's not relevant. But I searched
What'd you look up?
Eslo.
Eslo.
Yeah, because Ezra is Snoke and Kylo, so indirectly.
Oh, you should look
know.
up Snowclo though. I want you to look that one up.
Yeah, I probably should.
Oh,
For the
or
record,
look
I
up
don't
Kezra.
think that's the case.
Look up
I want
Snowclo.
it. Yeah, Snowclo and then Kezra.
No results for Snowclo. Okay, what was that?
Kezra? Oh no! Why are you doing this to us?
Ezran.
I don't like this one.
You know it exists.
Yeah, maybe. It's not like the
If anybody
father-son
can-
relationship vibe.
How would you put Kanan and Ezra together?
Wow. Okay. So from August 18th, there is a.
Ezra's death. Andrew.
But that's not Star Wars. It says Kira and Ezrin cosplay on Instagram, but it's not at all related to Star. There's like nothing Star Wars for this
Interesting.
search.
I'm trying to think of who.
Guys, it doesn't have to be shipping though. Like.
Doesn't have to be.
Hey, Lando Bot. Is there one for Lando and Lobot?
Let's see. There is, and one of them is actually
Yes.
a reply.
Me.
This is where we see all of Jared's tweets.
I don't know how, but we haven't lost any listeners since we started this.
You can find my secret.
How many do we have? One?
Oh, we have. I said
We
5
have
or
more
6
than that.
before. Now it says 4.
Shh. We don't discuss our low listener count. Yeah.
All right.
Let's eat dinner. Look.
Hey,
We're not East Coast.
that is correct. If you are eating dinner, you've had a crazy day at this point.
And honestly, if our listener from Sri Lanka is listening right now, do not pay for those crows. Okay, I know you can't own crows in Sri Lanka because you can train them to steal gold from people's houses. So I respect you.
So I want to train crows. Can I? That become my life? Can I learn how to train crows now to steal
Sri
gold?
Lanka.
What?
they train the
Not in
flies.
Sri Lanka, but can I do it here?
Sure. It hasn't been outlawed yet. I got a couple
Yes.
outside.
This sounds like a pretty good idea. This sounds like at least a good idea for a Netflix original series.
It used to be called Crow.
Crow Trainer.
No, that's already taken.
What's
Crow-
the Hera Kanan
Crow Thief.
Panera.
term?
Panera bread.
Yeah, I really think it should be Haranan though. But
Piranha?
Haranan, though.
But what is it?
Panera. It's Panera, like Panera Bread Company, but Panera.
Oh, okay.
And I've never been into a Panera Bread Company.
Let's see what comes
The
up
hell
for
you
this.
never been to Panera? Why do you have to call it Panera Bread Company?
Oh,
I get
oh.
company at the end.
Well,
the full name every time. Like, I don't call it KFC ever. It's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Trademark copyright.
Finger licking good.
So you saw some stuff, didn't you? Like Tim saw some stuff he didn't expect to see. He saw
well,
some raunchy stuff that I think I might be in contact on that thread.
there are several results for this search. Yeah. Okay. So what's next?
I'm so happy that we made Tim uncomfortable. Is all.
I'm gonna have to search this now.
Hey, no, I can DM you actually the one that like the third one to pop up, but it's also the biggest one. Let's see.
The biggest in what sense?
It takes up the most space on my screen.
Oh my god. You know what? There was one whole. I think I mentioned it to you guys, but there was one whole thing that I tumbled into, probably on Tumblr somehow, where it was literally like, no, you know what? I am not gonna go there.
All right. I appreciate Mark's restraint.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
you
that's-
can- huh.
I think
That's
I
one
was
of the
trying
ones
to.
that I
I
was
think
thinking
I
of.
was trying to find the stuff that there's no way that they shipped this, and good lord, yes they did.
All right,
Like,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I did send it to you guys for the record.
One
bet you
thing
there's podcasts.
I've noticed looking up like comic book history and doing research on comic book stuff lately, that I used to be able to do Google image searches and get a lot of like links to sources that I could figure out what issues stuff were in, and they were good sources for costume references. And now because of cosplay, I can't find good sources of even like obscure characters easily, because there's dozens and dozens of cosplay photos that, while they're well referenced, a lot of times they're like, oh, it's a steampunk version, or it's my twist on it, or it's as if it were made in a modern movie, like a Marvel movie or Watchmen or whatever. Like they've got like details and seams and zippers and stuff that aren't in the actual comic costumes. So they're not really good as pure reference material. They're cool, but they're, you know, they're a person's interpretation. And it's just interesting. It's so popular because like just a few years ago that was not the case. You'd see a few of those pop up, but now there's just hundreds of them, and it made me realize just like I thought about it before when you see TV shows, like then there's multiple cosplay TV shows on the air. It's clearly a big thing, but more of it used to be. But
What?
just you know, there's multiple cosplay TV shows on
What does
TV.
that mean?
Like TV shows about cosplay, like about
There is?
cosplayers. Yeah, there's the game shows or competitions and reality shows and whatnot.
What are these?
There's one on Sci-Fi, and there's another one as well. And maybe they're not both on new right now, but there've been more than one.
All right.
Yeah.
Also, I have to mention, because I feel like I almost have to turn in my fan card because I haven't mentioned this yet, and I feel almost bad about this, but I'm going to mention happy birthday to Mark Hamill, which is today, as we're recording right now. He's turning 66. So happy birthday, Mark Hamill.
Also, somebody else's birthday is today. In Star
Mine.
Wars. It is? I
No.
didn't think so. I thought I read that it was someone else's. I'm gonna double check because I have seen the Mark Hamill thing more recently and more frequently. But let me see. Yeah, Donald Glover as well shares a birthday.
Nice.
Mark Hamill. So the new Lando is also celebrating a birthday today, and I believe he is 34, which is one of my favorite numbers because it's divisible by 17.
You said the new Lando. I think we all know you meant the young Lando.
No, that's it's not all. It's Chewbacca 2.0, Young Han, and new Lando. Those are all their.
Those are their character names.
Yeah, those are their rap personas. Well, those are their rap personas because it's Chewbacca 2.0. Because he's, even though this is in particular is young Chewbacca, he's the second Chewbacca, like he's also Chewbacca in Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Is it really bad that I kind of want Chewie's name to be? Because he said Chewbacca 2.0. I'm flipping it to Chewbacca.
No, that's amazing. That's I'm proud of you.
Okay.
We are specifically talking about rap names. So
Right.
No, you are. That would no way be bad. That's.
And for Mark's sake, I'm not gonna, because again, I am in Twitter for the hashtag search. I just went to my home screen, and for Mark's sake, I'm not gonna bring up what Blake just tweeted.
Porgbaka. Look up Porgbaka. I'm gonna look up whatever Blake just tweeted. Barasoka is one I know exists.
Which one? What are you talking about?
Barasoka, like Barris and Ahsoka.
Oh, I didn't like Bear Ahsoka. I'm sure pulls up something too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not suggesting that. Oh sweet, goodness no. I mean, that might be what Blake hashtagged.
Sweet Jesus, no.
And there's just a question here.
I already did a search one day trying to find and meld your two fandoms together, you and Blake. I did the best search I could for Ewoks and Wookiee pairings, and it didn't really work out. Like, I wanted to find something just wrong.
And you couldn't find one?
No.
That
Why?
kind
You have like a whole selection I don't know about?
No, but I could maybe find one if I look. But it's just disappointing because I don't know, like
It's so natural.
We're so perverted as a fandom and as a species and as like everything that exists. Like, I drew for commissioned artwork and just for myself, like over 1,000 characters from the Marvel Universe, actually closer to 2,000, and did all this research. And when I did, you'd find the worst, most wrong pictures of the most obscure comic book characters like pop up. Like you said, like there's just something natural about Ewoks and Chewbacca. Like that just makes sense. Ewoks and Wookiees.
Wookiees.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
I challenge anyone. Find me one.
I'm gonna go for it right now while we continue or finish up or whatever we're doing, because
we're winding it down on the high note.
What search parameters did you use? Ewok Wookiee porn? Yeah.
All right.
Why is Jar Jar popping up?
Oh God, let's move on.
What does he have to do with this? Who invited him?
Yeah, I was gonna say though, it has been a relatively slow news week for us, especially after last week with the big, JJ conversations and all that. So I think we're gonna be wrapping up pretty soon whenever you guys are done with your conversations.
I'm good with this. The rest is for me, myself, in private.
Yeah, no, yeah. Most of this isn't for. Most of this is no good for anybody.
And like I said, Mark, I did DM both Jared and Mark. I sent you both that tweet that came up. So because
a second.
And Mark, I know you thrive off of that stuff. So
love it. Jarmy Dalla.
Oh no.
That's a good one.
Is it? I don't think it is.
Well, you'll have to try it not right now to double check.
Jargon Jin.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna just start playing the outro music, and
Jarmy Kenobi.
and there's nothing you guys can do about it. I hope I don't ruin it. We'll see. Oh, bye.
No.
Bye.
Oh, that's loud.
Ah.